Welcome, modelers. TrekWorks back with you again. Well, I just wanted to come back with a update and kind of a final shot of our Klingon battle cruiser from round 2 models. We went back in and we got a little bit more brightness going on here with our red beacon things on the top here, and we came in and tamed down our windows here in the front quite a bit, and pretty pleased with how this model turned out. Still haven't gone to the store and got my resistor yet to run these LEDs, but probably get to that by the weekend here. Just wanted to kind of do a little video update here. Got a lot of requests for this. Just kind of have a look at kind of a reflection back at some of the models that we've done in the last couple of months. Just wanted to give you a nice video comparison here of the old classic D7 to the Katinga from some of the Star Trek movies, some of the differences they had as far as the further detail, and you can kind of get a view of these kits side by side as well on both AMT, and you can see that the Katinga is just a little bit bigger overall than the D7, and obviously it's just got a lot of detail on it, and this one has a lot of really nice paintwork on it, detail paintwork and stuff, and it's lit up pretty nice. Then we've got our old Romulan Bird of Prey here, still going strong, no problems with the LEDs. I run these things a couple hours every week, so they've got some time on them now, and so it's holding up pretty good. We've got our Constellation up here, some of our Art Asylum ships. Now these aren't actually models, but they're really nice little replicas. I like to collect those. Supposedly in the next couple months they're going to have an Enterprise B hit the market, so I'll be wanting to check that one out. Some of my ships are dead here. I had to rob some power supplies for some of the other projects, but hopefully we're going to be getting those, making a trip to the local electronics store and picking up some of those. Cutaway Enterprise, still looking good. Nothing's fallen off of it yet. Must have did a pretty decent job gluing it together. And we've got our Defiant. You know, as simple as that model was and as little as I did to it, I still just kind of like looking at it. And every night when I shut down here and head off to bed, I turn off the light, and as I walk out the door, you'll see that nice kind of green glow still going on. So it's pretty cool. I still think round 2 did a kind of a sweet little packaging deal with it. That was just kind of a nifty little... if I was a kid, I would have wanted to buy this thing really bad, I'm sure, just for the glow effect on it. But still had a lot of fun with that one. We've got our old K7 here. K7, since I built it, it's had some small light leaks around the bottom of these domes here, and I've always wanted to go back and correct that. I got to get around to that one of these days and do a little bit of cleanup on that thing. But that was one of my, about 12 years ago, first attempts. I stuck a new round 2 base on it, but it was one of my first attempts at doing lighting on it, and it was an eye-opener. It took a little bit of work to get that to come around. Still not totally happy with it either. It's almost almost too many lights on it, but anyway, that was a fun project as well. We got our Bondi Ships here. These for modelers that want to get into something as far as going in and having a pre-painted, ready to assemble ship, not much glue required, the kind of thing, with some lighting that'll really display well. I can't say enough how much I recommend these Bondi kits. They're kind of a great way for a beginner too to start out with something that and kind of get the understanding of how these things are lit and some of the techniques they use. Now, their stuff is manufactured, you know, and designed and engineered from the get-go to be lit, but there are a lot of things that you can do and learn from working with these to learn the techniques of doing them yourself, you know, from scratch, from doing models that it's our Reliant here that we did the Aztecs on. And those decals haven't came apart at all. They're still looking really good. That's Reliant's always been one of my favorites. And our Klingon Bird of Prey. And the Excelsior. But getting back to these Bondis, they are, like I said, they're very well engineered. They're relatively easy to work with, and I mean, they're really hard to beat. Now this one here, I actually had been looking for a Bondi kit to do myself, and the Voyager version of these has gotten to be pretty rare, and they were a more expensive kit than the rest of the Bondis to begin with. You can see that it's a larger scale compared to the E here, which in reality the the E is deceptively small on the big screen, but scale-wise it's an extremely large ship. It's probably longer than the. I'm not up on all the specifics, but it's probably longer than the Enterprise D or bigger than the Enterprise D overall. It's quite a large ship, but this Voyager turned out to be pretty hard to find. Now I actually picked this one up off of eBay that was already put together, and somebody did a great job on the. I understand I'm like the third owner of this thing, but it's somebody did a great job on this base. Now when I got it, it was all faded. The wood was all faded, and the brass up here was all actually starting to turn green. And I went in and redid all that, polished that all up, and re-lacquered the wood here, and it came up pretty nice. Now what I thought was cool about this is they've gone and done some variable. I've got a variable resistor in here, and so you can see what this does is you can slowly raise and lower the lights in this thing. You've got separate off and on toggle switches to power up the lights, and you've got the same thing with the strobe in the front here. You can deactivate it or turn it back on here. They've got a nice little circuit they put in there, and then the warp engines are able to be dimmed and that power up thing. Now one thing I've noticed on this one, they did a great job, and I'm not totally sure on the Bondi ships. I think some of these LEDs have been added by whoever built this one, but they are. I'm not sure if they come with it or not. I don't believe they do. I think they've been added. And as we flip the engine up here, we see we've got one starboard side nav. The starboard side should always be green on Federation ships, and we've got a greenie going on the port side here. So I'm actually trying to do a little research, and maybe some of you out there that are seeing this might be able to give me some feedback on that, as far as whether they came with these or not, and if so, how big of a deal it is to split this nacelle. Now I don't have any instructions to go with off of this, so I'm kind of stuck. I don't want to start prying. I can kind of see the seams where it goes around. Anyway, it's just kind of a side thing there. If anybody happens to know anything about that, shoot me a line. I'd appreciate it. And then we've got our Enterprise refit here, and we did the Arboretum window on there. You can see that, and that really, I thought, added a lot to that, made that kind of slick and not just the standard one that you see out there. And the NX-01, which is, in my opinion, as far as Bondi, it has the best paint job of them all. I mean, it just looks spot on to the what we see on the screen, and it's just a nice little ship. And I know it doesn't have a lot of fans, but believe me, when you kind of get one of these little models in person, you start working with it. It's a kind of a cool little ship. I really would have liked to seen the supposed 5th season of Enterprise, the refit they were going to do, which was going to have the more upright pylons and start getting, and a neck, start getting kind of close to the look of the classic Enterprise, and that would have been kind of sweet. I've seen some conceptual pictures and CGIs and things, and it would have been a great ship to see on the screen. It's too bad that ended. But then we've got our 350 scale polar lights, and it's kind of hard to get this shot here, but this has been built out. Now this ship was built by Tenet Controls out of Boston, and I've had a few looks around the internet, or YouTube, from what I could find, for just kind of comparison to see how this ship is compared to some others. And I bought this one because I had planned on building my own, but they did a great job on this base. They put all this custom stuff in here. You have the light up. I guess I could turn that on real quick here. This thing is all remote too. This is what I got with it. It's a keypad, like for example, let's see, power it down and power it up, and then you've got your deflector shield sequence, and you've got your it's going to be hard to see in the light here, but it's all backlit in blue LEDs or blue neon on the bottom, so that's pretty sweet. You've got your photon firing effect there. Deflector can change, and they did a lot of work on this to make sure that like all the you know, all your strobes and everything are flashing pretty much in the right sequence as the studio model. So now the one thing that I hadn't actually noticed right away when I got this, it was over a bit of time, but they've got like a forward LED put in there to kind of give it that appearance of you know, as it did on screen, of lighting the forward area of the ship. Now some model builders do what they call a Raytheon Technique, and that's actually what you do is you when you paint the inside, say you would paint the inside of the saucer here, you would tape off basically a V section here, starting thin at the front and spreading out as you go towards the front, kind of like what's been done on this. The light's not too hot in here, right? It's probably too bright. I don't know if you could see or not, but the Raytheon method was done on this Reliant, where you can see that the light slowly spreads out. And what you're doing is you're masking off this area here, and then you're painting the rest of this black. And then as you place LEDs underneath of this thing and you paint the surface, you're going to get a transparency, just like the thing you're trying to avoid normally when you build a lighted model is you don't want what they call light bleed, where light's coming out or shining through the plastic. And so what you're doing is you're addressing that problem by putting several coats of black. A lot of guys use silver on the inside of the model. It helps spread the light, but it also keeps the light from passing through the plastic and, you know, ruining the realistic effect that you're going for. So on this one, they put a little LED there at the front of the bridge. I guess that's B deck. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a totally accurate on the all the terminology, but it looks great when it's in low light and it's flashing forward like that, and it gives the appearance of that. But just as a model, from a standpoint of, you know, I would rather see that wasn't there. But it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's. And for casual people, it just, you know, they don't notice it, but die-hard people are definitely going to pick that up. And I went back in myself here and did a retouch on the bridge, and got it to what I kind of thought was a little bit more correct for the ship. It was done in kind of a gold. I've seen that version done in several instances, but I've also seen it done this way, and just my own personal preference, I like the kind of the tamed down version of it. It had a really bold gold top on it on the front, kind of fascia and some other little stuff going on there. But anyway, that's not a knock on them. That's the craftsmanship on it was superb. Paintwork is superb on this whole ship. They did a great job on it. I've been asked about this ship quite a bit in some of my videos that I've posted on it, and I've typed a lot of responses, but I figured I'd give a kind of a talkie this time and kind of answer some of the questions about it. And I know that Tenet Controls are still on YouTube, and you can get a hold of them, and they'll quote you a price for building you. Now, when I got mine, it was just the base and the ship. I added the glass case and all that. But again, they do the. I'll put the camera back here, and hopefully you're seeing it, and I'm centered because I can't tell. But they do the nice fully lit shuttle bay with the effect in there. We've also got the. One more thing, it does play the Star Trek theme. Now I would have preferred it would have been something more from the motion picture or matching this era of ship. This is classic TOS sequence, but it's still cool, and it's Star Trek, so it works. But yeah, it's definitely my favorite ship probably of all time. I just absolutely love the refit as well as the A, and so just really happy to have that. And the beginning here is the Galileo kit that we put together with the lighting. Fits in real nice with this little display I got going on. But the Master Replicas Enterprise, I was really fortunate. A friend of mine is actually worked at Master Replicas, and when they were going through, and they basically set aside some of the ships for display purposes. That they, you know, obviously it's manufactured, so there's I've seen some reports and read about some of the reports of some of the issues with some of these things where they've had small cracking going on and some defects in the paintwork and some problems with the with the motorized nacelles here. But this ship, according to him, was hand-picked. I mean, I was absolutely just completely satisfied when I pulled it out of the box. It was I looked everywhere for any kind of flaw in it, and I've seen a few pictures of some where the grid work, which is really, really fine on these, was a little screwed up where you saw some overlap lines or a little bit off, but we were really lucky with this one. I had no problems at all, and it's about, I've had it about almost 2 years now, so it's still going strong. The nacelles on these things are, I've heard videos of some of them where they were super noisy. I would call mine low to medium noisy. They're not bad. Now, I was told by him directly that when I got this thing, to actually take it out of the box and just run the heck out of it. In other words, just run it in, run these little motors in for like a week straight, when I was home. And so I did that, and maybe that's paid off because I haven't had any problems with it at all. But, yep, I'm really, really happy to have that. This little stained glass thing here in the background, my father-in-law actually made that for me. It's one of a kind, handmade, all leaded, and it's not supposed to be an accurate Enterprise. It's supposed to be kind of an abstract art kind of thing, and I really, really, really cherish that as well. It's just kind of a one of a kind thing to me, and he backlit it and everything. That's all LEDs up in there, so he did a really nice job on that. A couple of old kits that we built a long time ago. I built these probably in about 1981 or 1980, somewhere around there. And you can tell the classic mistake. I've got the antenna or deflector kind of thing on the Klingon D7 here, sticking out of the front like they show in the instructions, and obviously that's supposed to be flush. But I did do a great job on, kind of hard to see here, but I really sanded the heck out of that thing and filled in all the seams. It's got a really nice paint job on it, and I did it in the dull gray sort of green that we all thought we were seeing before we did this this new version here. And so that's just, yeah, that's an old timer. Anyway, so that's kind of a little look around the room here. Our next project here is I'd actually talked about doing the 1/1000 scale refit, and I got to looking around YouTube a little bit, and there's been quite a few of those done, and quite a few guys have done reviews on those and build-ups. So, and there's a few of these as well. But I thought this time that I'd go with this 1000 scale classic Enterprise. I think it's a great little kit. I bought this a while back. Kind of had it in my storage area here, and I thought, well, what the heck? Let's take a look at this one, because I have heard some good things about it, that it's fairly accurate. And when I opened it up and looked at it, I'll kind of do a little thing on that on the next video as far as unboxing it and doing my normal thing with showing you the instruction sheets, the parts, and all that. But it's got some great. It's packaged really nice. It's got some great artwork on the inside when you take the cover off. It's the old sturdy cardboard. It's a great little kit. And the sweet thing is they package this so that you can build this ship as any of the 3 regular series ships, which would be the pilot episode, the second pilot episode, and the regular production version. So you've got basically the rotating nacelles here, like you see in the production version, regular version, and then you've got the spiked ones, the old kind of painted ones here that had the little part of the engine mechanism sticking out of the front, and the larger deflector dish and the different bridge and all that, and of course different markings, less lighting on the earlier ones. There are several differences, but the parts and the decals are included in this kit to do all of those versions. And as a bonus, you also get decals to do the ISS Enterprise from Mirror Mirror. And my collection that I've got going on around here with several versions of Enterprises and things, I don't have a ISS Enterprise, and so I'm going to go ahead and build this up as the ISS, and we'll do a nice review along the way of it and do the usual build-up. Now, I'm not going to do lighting on this one. I've kind of stayed with lighting a lot in the You know, some of these videos that I've been doing here, and you know, once in a while, although I'm a strong believer in lights, for beginning modelers, that's not always the best option, and sometimes you just want to go build a model and assemble it and paint it and display it, and there's plenty of fun in that as well too. So that's how we're going to do this one. We're just going to build it straight out of the box, paint it, and see how it all turns out, and maybe learn a few things about it along the way. So and that's what we're going to do in the next one. Again, thanks for all the great comments. Here's the old bridge that we finished up. I'm still going around this ring here. Plan is to finish off these edges here, and then I'll fix up these seams really nice and probably do some paint work, and then we're going to be putting a piece of clear over the top of this to keep the dust out, and that'll be it. But anyways, again, appreciate all the comments. We've met a lot of nice people along the way here. It's been great chatting with you, discussing some of this stuff. Love of Star Trek building models, and it's really been fun. So thanks for following along, and we'll catch you all in the next video.